WWE Raw is in San Diego. Ruby Riott does a terrible thing, and we have new tag team champions. All that and more on Raw, the after show on AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Now you can tune this up a little bit, Tony.
At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah,
all right, so this is dedicated. Y'all don't know, you're not into like the his hop. Travis Scott's new album, Sicko Mode, dedicated to Seth Rollins because he's doing some crazy stuff. Well, Dean is too.
Wait, he dedicated it to him?
I dedicated it to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why that's how I pick my songs. Johnny just picks random 90s songs. I pick songs with an intention. There's a method behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you usually come in and you know ahead of time what the song's gonna be.
Well, yeah.
Or in short order, you figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how I do. Well, thank you for appreciating it.
Hey, it's better than what I do, which is basically just kind of for a half an hour and then come up with some stupid answer.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you for joining us. My name is TK Trinidad, and we have Hobo in the building. It's been a minute.
You'll have to excuse my absence. I've been working for New Japan. I've been working for WWE. I've been training at New Japan, so I've been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
I think you can excuse it, though, because I have only become a better broadcaster. I'm only widening the depth of knowledge that I possess so I can come to you and critique with accuracy and fury tonight's WWE Monday Night Raw.
So you be getting those bags, though, right?
Yeah. Right under my eyes.
So let's get into it. So we have Seth Rollins, who came out with Baron Corbin. Seth Rollins was telling Baron Corbin he's dumb. Seth Rollins, it was just...
It was really interesting from the point of view of Seth Rollins saying what everybody knows to be true.
Right.
That WWE Raw is slacking. It is not what
it's been slacking for...
A bit.
Yeah, a little, maybe 6 months, if not more.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it is not as strong as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
The ratings themselves are slipping. People are getting a little bit tired of what's going on, and there are certain talents that are not being used to their fullest possible potential.
Right.
So he's flat out says that Baron Corbin is the reason for this, 100%. Because if he is the interim general manager of Raw, by all accounts, the buck stops with him, which is it's a pretty strong statement.
Right. But then it's kind of, this is what I love and hate about wrestling. It's kind of, you go into those worlds of what's real and what's not, like what's part of writing and what's not. And obviously we know that Baron Corbin is not necessarily making those decisions, but then it's just kind of like he's the face of the people who are making the decisions, so then you just want to hate him. But it's just kind of one of those, that's why I love and hate about like wrestling. It's like
that's something we would call transferred heat. He's picking up the transferred heat. The show is kind of slacking, so him being the head of the show, the face of the organization for this television show, he's picking up transferred heat. People are upset with how the show is going, so he's getting the heat, which is fine, because that's where it belongs. Well, so people should want to see Baron Corbin get punched in the face.
Well, he does a couple times, so we're going to talk about that. That was the end of the day, but the end of Raw. What do you think of Raw overall? Oh, boy.
Yeah, the silence is pretty much my answer. I feel like it could be better. I feel that there are many things within this show. The matches are great. The wrestling is not the problem. The wrestling is never the problem with WWE, because each and every person backstage is a professional who knows their job, who knows how to put together a match, who knows how to execute with excellence. They are not the problem. The problem is when somebody's handed a mic and certain things within what they're saying do not connect. Right off the bat, Seth Rollins is a great example. He's automatically the smartest guy in the room. He knows that there are talent backstage that are being misused. The ratings are down. He knows what we all know, but then simultaneously, same segment moments later, he bullies Baron Corbin. Bullies Baron Corbin into a TLC match.
Knowing that he's going to be competing on Sunday.
For his championship. And that competing in that style match will only weaken him on Sunday and make him less prepared. Only 6 days. He doesn't have time to recover.
However, I know his trainer, Josh. Shout out to Josh G, his CrossFit trainer. He takes CrossFit. He's CrossFit Jesus. He might be able to recover, or he knows that he's able to recover for Sunday.
It is, from the audience's standpoint and perspective, it makes it difficult to feel sympathy for a guy who puts himself
on the line
in harm's way for no good reason. It is one thing to be oppressed,
right?
To have somebody come to you and say, you do this or something bad's going to happen.
Right.
That did not happen. Baron Corbin was walking out. Baron Corbin was leaving.
Right.
And Seth Rollins just kept nipping at him and nipping at him and nipping at him. And finally Corbin said, fine. Well, you get what you want.
So do you think this is a setup for Dean to get the belt?
I hope so. I'd be okay with that. I don't have a problem at all with that. I just have a problem with having to feel sympathy for a character
who does something really stupid.
Who does stupid stuff.
Well, speaking of belts, we have AOP and Drake Maverick and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable go against each other. This was... I love their entrance. I love that they're coordinating. I love the outfits, all this other stuff. But it feels like they could have either spent more time, like, setting this up. I know they've been kind of going back and forth for a few weeks, but it didn't vibe with me as far... Like, it didn't connect with me with the win.
It took me a minute to realize that Gable and Roode had won the tag team titles. I wasn't... It didn't feel like a title match,
right?
And,
Because was it because there was no like hardcore storyline? Oh, and by the way, last week I said storyline a bunch of times. The guy said he can't stand me saying storyline, so apparently we're making this a drinking game. So they say storyline, then you just take a shot.
What are you supposed to say? Did he suggest something else to say?
That's just not
then guess what, pal? You don't get to tell us what to say without giving a solution to the problem that you created. That's what happens. Woo!
He just created a drinking game.
Storyline. In any case, it didn't feel like a championship match because Drake Maverick was constantly involving himself. And rarely do championships change hands in a handicap situation.
Right.
Rarely does that happen. But I suppose if it's going to happen, this makes the most sense.
But AOP didn't even have the belt for very long. Not that I can recall. Like, it had to be after the summer, so like maybe September.
It was essentially as soon as Drake Maverick started managing them, they began their run for the belt.
Yeah, but it just feels like they didn't have the belt for that long. It didn't feel like, I understand Drake is speaking for them, but he wasn't really... I didn't see like almost like a Leo Rush or like a manager where he's like they're taking down the locker room and stuff like that, and then with this belt, it was just like it's like almost when I know I don't want to refer to SmackDown. It's almost like when the Usos go against the New Day or the Bar, stuff like that. You can kind of feel the energy of it, and now you're rooting for whoever you want to root for. But this one is just like
I think it's also because they've made this a joke feud. There's so much comedy surrounding this feud. It doesn't feel like a championship level feud.
Right. And then where's the B team?
That's unfortunate. So I don't think Gable and Roode are going to hold on to the belts very long at all. In fact, if there's a rematch on Sunday, I imagine it'll go right back to the way it was.
Okay.
Because the AOP are not a problem. The Authors of Pain as a tag team are almost bulletproof.
Right.
It is the actions of Drake Maverick that drew the loss and thus transferred the belts. So if Drake Maverick decides to take himself out of the scenario, I don't think Gable and Roode can hold up against the AOP because they haven't been able to before. They've been just fodder for almost every tag team, including the Authors of Pain.
Now, speaking of like almost a faction tag team, so we had Ruby Riott. She came out. What do you think of? And I know they've used other family members before. What do you think of her talking about Nanny's dad as far as using it incorporating it for TLC?
Wrestling's wrestling.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they're using Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
In a storyline sense, and that's totally with Roman's approval. We can't imagine it's not. And that's wrestling.
Right.
You know, you should use almost every. Nothing is sacred inside of professional wrestling, especially the professional wrestlers. Professional wrestlers are really. They don't take things too seriously. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I think using Jim the Anvil Neidhart's memory as an emotional fulcrum for this match is good because you get genuine emotion from Natalya.
Right.
That's working. She had tears in her eyes tonight. Very powerful. But at the same time, you have to have a heel on the other side that's willing to go for the jugular.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of been done, having the Anvil's image on a table.
And then she broke the glasses a few weeks ago. That was the thing, too.
Right. And that I think is working. But then you have Ruby Riott recommending grief counseling, which is a genuinely good suggestion.
Right, but from the wrong person.
But even still, it's like, yeah, she should probably do that. Thank you for helping.
Right.
And then the next sentence she says, she calls her the disgrace of the Hart family without giving any supporting evidence at all. You can't just say things and not give any evidence.
What are you talking about? This is we're in the Twitterverse.
No. No. I would love to have at least a televised world immune from that.
Oh, no.
You must give evidence.
No.
You must support.
We could create something now. What happened in Texas, Hobo? What happened in Texas?
A lot of things happened in Texas. Yeah, the Von Erichs happened in Texas.
See?
So
We'll discuss
what that
next
has
week.
to do with the Hearts, I don't know.
Well, another thing too. So we have this. This is. I think there was just a lot of. I hope, which I doubt. I hope that the writers are just setting us up with this frustration for something beautiful in 2019, because we have Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. A couple weeks ago, we've seen Dolph make these comments. Drew's looking at him like small piece of gum, like he's looking at him like that. But we didn't really see the separation. All we saw is they just weren't together, and then now they're battling it out, which is frustrating to me because I want to see the conversation that happened.
So you feel like they hot-shotted this.
Yeah,
like
it's just like they were.
This is happening.
Right. And I missed it.
Now.
Let me know in the chat if I missed it. But it's just kind of one of those things where you knew it was coming just by the looks, the looks in the conversation. But then all of a sudden, one day they just weren't, they weren't a team anymore.
Yeah.
And now they're battling against each other.
Well, no, I think it kind of happened around the Braun Strowman issues and all that, and I think that was kind of what pulled them apart. But I mean, granted, this feud was a matter of time, but I don't think the time is now. I feel like this is too soon. I feel like Ziggler and McIntyre were genuinely good together,
right?
And it's unfortunate that almost all of the sudden they're having to fight each other.
Yeah, and it's not even, he can still get the belt with them being together, so it's not an issue
exactly.
per se. But this brings me to TK's boudoir. Tony, you ready there, DJ Tony Tone?
TK's boudoir, oh yeah. TK's boudoir, oh yeah. TK's boudoir, TK's boudoir.
This is Hobo's first time listening to the song. He was there for the inception of TK's Boudoir Sad Song. Now there's a song.
I am.
Is there tears in your eyes?
Genuinely tickled by that.
So TK's Boudoir goes to Apollo Crews. All
right.
And it's just, there's no rhyme or reason. He just looked hot. He's added to the team.
He's picking up girls left and right.
He's literally picking up girls left and right. He's on the Mixed Match Challenge. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. But, I don't want him to be in the black man's purgatory anymore. So I'm glad to see him on TV doing something.
Somebody gave him a bit of an up blast the other day. Said I forget who it was, said that there's no reason why Apollo Crews shouldn't be main eventing every show.
Was that on Twitter?
Yeah, it was on
I
Twitter.
think I did see that too.
Yeah, and I mean, it was somebody, like with a good standing.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I guess I don't really have.
And it's yeah, and I agree.
But I don't know what to do with him.
He's a half decent good babyface at this point.
Right.
Mostly because they've written every other babyface into the ground. So by extension of leaving him alone, he's the top of the pile because he's untouched.
Right.
I think he's got all the pieces, but for some reason they don't think he can carry the load.
I don't think he can carry the load mic-wise, but I definitely think he can carry his skill. Like, we all know his skills; that's undeniable. But it's just like they're just not. That was another faction that disintegrated Titus Worldwide, and it's like, okay, well, they just.
I have to think it's because they have some kind of plan. Titus is fine. He's not going anywhere. Crews is fine. He's not going anywhere. Right. So I don't know why this split had to happen.
Right.
If nothing's going to happen and virtually nothing changes.
Yeah, the only thing changes is we don't see Titus on TV anymore. I know he does like a lot of in between commercial stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like you could have at least acknowledged it, or maybe he's still representing it but doing other things. Like, sometimes it just feels like you this is where you were going, and then all of a sudden you're gonna just pretend like we didn't watch the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's a new season.
Like, just not going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, just not acknowledge
about it.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess because I'm covering it every week, it's just like, wait a minute, what happened to this? Yeah. So Bayley goes up against Alicia Fox.
Well, we didn't really talk about the match itself, Ziggler and McIntyre.
Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Ziggler and the match. How did you feel about that?
I think it got, I don't want to say out of control, but things got escalated really quickly. I mean, that Emerald Fusion off of the second rope was ugly. Absolutely devastatingly ugly.
It was a great match because I felt it was like two brothers, and this is what my irritation is with the storyline, is that like two brothers had an issue, they're going at each other, but we don't know what caused the riff.
Right. I mean, what it boils down to me is big dog, little dog. Mm-hmm. Little dog thinks he's as big as the big dog, so he talks a big game, and he pushes the big dog around a little bit until the big dog gets sick of it and just bites him. And the big dog takes a big bite. And that's essentially what we saw tonight. Mm-hmm. They were talking a lot about, in the promo before the match, McIntyre being undefeated and how that's sort of on the line now. Mm-hmm. Now they're really acknowledging it. They're really pushing it. So there were several points in this match where it looked like he was going to lose. And he came really close. There was a 9 count, and then the zigzag out of nowhere. It came really close. So I think Ziggler was trying to at least get the victory over McIntyre, win the battle, but not necessarily win the war, because he cannot beat McIntyre flat out. Maybe he can get a flash victory, but if it comes down to it, McIntyre is too big, too powerful, and too brutal. And you saw that after the match.
But for like winning the war, it's that when you go to war with purpose, right?
Yeah.
So when you say win the war, it's just like, well, what
are we fighting for?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is WWE's Vietnam. What are we fighting for?
I just like a good storyline. So speaking of Alicia Fox and Bayley, Alicia Fox just seems to just not. She looks amazing, but just I don't know what they're doing with her either. I don't know if is there a point where you just, as a wrestler, you're just like, okay, this is my position in life, like I'm gonna be just that person.
To a degree, yeah. You do kind of come to terms with how you're viewed and what your growth potential is to a certain extent.
Yeah, like I don't think she'll ever get the belt ever again. Not in her career.
anything's possible. Let's put it that way. But I think her main focus and concern right now should be consistency. I don't think she operates with a tremendous amount of consistency.
Oh, okay.
Tonight she looked good versus Bailey, but even still, what she did was fairly limited. I think the longer you put her in a match, the more exposed she
You see the
becomes.
flaws. Okay.
So I think more than anything with her, it's consistency.
So with that, is that more time practicing outside of the job, or is it like there's just some people get it as far as, you know, learning how to wrestle, and then some people just never really get it? Is that a thing, or is that...
No, it's a thing that does happen.
Okay.
Especially with the way she's kind of an older styled wrestler. Let's put it that way. As far as the women's division is concerned,
Right.
I don't know if she really had any wrestling experience before she started
No,
wrestling.
she was a model.
Right. But even now, you have the Performance Center, and people have to be down there for a good amount of time before they're ever allowed to see TV. And even now, the way WWE handles bringing in people with no experience, they're almost given to somebody to at least get the basics before they come to the Performance Center. So she doesn't have that backbone.
But she lives in Florida, though, so...
So that's on her.
Right.
So it's kind of both ways. She didn't necessarily get the best training when she first started. The other side, she can now, if she truly dedicated herself to it, to learning what she doesn't know, to honing what she can do better, she can do that. So she's in her own control, truly. Every wrestler is.
Yeah.
Everyone is in their own control to a certain extent. So once she proves herself, I think they would be more than willing to push her to the front. I think there's something very compelling about her.
Yeah.
She's tall, she's attractive, and she's got an on-camera presence that draws you to her. She's unpredictable.
Yeah.
And unpredictable can be very good in this setting. When it's the same show every week, same formula every week, something that is truly unpredictable can be a good thing.
Yeah.
But how do you make something more formula and keep that level of mystery? It's tough. She's in a tough place.
So, were you feeling this fight, or were you feeling this match, or were you...
I sort of got lost when it was...
Why?
Like, everybody's out. Like, there were 18 people involved in this match. Like, I don't know if we need all these people.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things, like, where, you know how they used to do the 205 Live?
Yeah.
It felt like this is just a mixed match challenge. Like, oh, hey, by the way, just in case you guys forgot, because there's just so much wrestling on TV. Just in case you guys forgot, this is what's happening, mixed match challenge. We're going to just toss it in Raw. That's what it felt like, and it was just kind of
I don't necessarily mind that, but I think we should also have something from 205.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily Elias versus the kid.
Leo Rush.
Yes, thank you.
What did you think of this match, Elias and Leo Rush?
Elias and Leo Rush, it's hard to gauge Leo Rush sometimes because he's supposed to be ungodly fast. But at the same time, in those moments, in the early moments of the match where Leo Rush was supposedly outmaneuvering Elias, it looked like Elias was almost toying with Leo Rush.
Oh, like almost like a cat with a mouth, like about to...
Yeah, that's how it comes off to me when I see it, as opposed to maybe if somebody else sees it. Oh, look, Leo Rush is too hard to catch.
Could it be that Leo Rush was slowing it down for Elias, so it could...
I mean, perhaps, but it's how it reads. You know, it doesn't necessarily matter, but it's how it reads. So it looked like Elias was toying with him, and Elias pretty soundly beat him, and Lashley sure did help, and not drawing the disqualification by threatening
Heath Slater. What do you think of... What do you think of this Heath Slater thing? Do you think it's a setup for something for TLC?
I don't know. Like, even tonight we saw something. In the main
Right.
event of this evening, things definitely took a dramatic turn with Heath Slater. So I don't know. I sort of hope that something's going to happen. Like, Heath Slater can't get his ears lashed every time. He can't be threatened without sort of resorting to taking a physical stand. He is still a wrestler. Even if he is in a position as a referee, even as a referee, you have to stand up for yourself. If somebody is going to get in your face, you have to stand up right in their face and remind them that A, you're not somebody to be messed with, and B, their livelihood depends on you.
We need to package it. Somebody needs to package that and send it to Heath. Because his face looked like he was 5. Like he wasn't like and even when he was backstage, he just looked like
he's not into it.
He's not. Yeah, it's just like, I have kids to feed. I need to get this
That is truly
paycheck.
somebody accepting the lot that they have been set.
Now, do you think it's real, or do you think it's like? Do you think he's just that good of a, or do you think it's kind of a?
Maybe a little of both.
Okay.
Maybe he is frustrated that things didn't go better for him. Because you look at McIntyre, and you look at Jinder, and those two guys they made such a dramatic change, and it put them in such a great position. Heath Slater's never changed, and look at where he is.
It feels like Alicia Fox. She's like at the bottom of the pack. It feels like Heath Slater is literally buried underneath the pack times 10. Like,
well, now he's a referee. You know?
I hope it's just a storyline versus reality.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is in WWE, referees work really hard.
Right.
Regardless.
It has nothing to do with that, but it's just kind of one of those things
right,
where
it's how he's portraying it. It's like, oh, well, I'm a referee. And yeah, maybe that is hard. Maybe being a referee when you want to be a wrestler is hard, especially when you're not given the option. All of the referees who are referees within WWE, they were given the option. You can be a referee or you can be a wrestler, but there are only one path's going to lead in one direction, the other path's going to lead in the other direction. And Heath Slater wasn't given the option necessarily. He was said, kind of in a succinct way, either you're going to be a referee or you're going to be out on your ass.
And he has kids to feed.
Right. So that's the look. That's I got kids to feed.
Yeah, but I just hope it's not the latter. So we have Nia Jax doing her. I think she's improved on the mic. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
By a lot. Like, it's believable. I don't know if she's taking acting lessons or what have you, but well, the more you do it, the better you will get. Right. So maybe she wasn't so good few weeks ago, months ago, but she's been doing it more and more. So the more you do it, the better you get. I don't know. It's evolution. It's natural. Well, it is, but it's also that some people have been given opportunities and they're just okay with it. Like, I feel like she's improving to the point that if it was this time next year, it'd be a totally different.
That's why they give her time.
Yeah.
Because she's consistently trying to improve herself. Not only is she dangerous as a professional, physically very imposing, but now she's talking on the mic and it sounds better. It's increasing in quality, and that's what you want.
Yep. So she pretty much said that she's going to knock out Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey comes out. This is another part. I think everything about this today was very weird. So we thought, they might have gone out after it, whatever. Tamina's out there with her. Tamina and Nia were gonna, pretty much ambush Ronda. Ember Moon comes out.
Not even, though. They weren't going to ambush her.
Do you not
Ronda
think
Rousey hits the ring, and Tamina and Nia hit the bricks.
Right, they hit the bricks.
They totally are like...
But they circled her like they were going to come at her at the side because she wouldn't know which way to go. That's what I thought that's what it looked like to me.
I didn't get that.
Okay.
The fact that they doubled back, to me, shows weakness. So why did they spend all that time saying, look at how strong I am.
Right.
I'm not afraid of Ronda Rousey. Bring her out here right... Oh, damn, she's coming. Like, come on. Have them stand there. Build the tension. You can't build up a wrestler as being an unstoppable friggin' machine and a coward simultaneously. Both the dumbest and the smartest guy and the most badass and the weakest woman on Raw, they're the same people. I'm getting a little tired of this.
So Ember Moon comes out to the rescue, I suppose, and then there's a match between Ember and Tamina. Now
it's never addressed.
Yeah, but that's the thing; it's never addressed. Ember Moon was out with Bailey and Sasha at one point. She was with Natalya at one point, and it's just like we don't see her in the locker room forming these relationships. So all you know is like, oh well, just throw Amber on it. Like she's great, and I think she would have a great storyline. But it just feels like
she's a third wheel in every single scenario.
Yeah, she's
nothing is ever about her, but she's there.
She's always there, and it's I don't get it, because then where's Natalya? Because Natalya, like, as far as Ronda's concerned, or the Ronda storyline is concerned, is Natalya and Ronda really good friends. So then you'd feel like, I understand Natalya has her own thing going on, but then at least build another relationship that we see backstage or something that makes sense.
Oh, there's only 3 hours of time. They just don't have enough time.
Not enough time.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this match? Tamina, Ember Moon defeats Tamina.
The match was really good, despite how hinky the start was, and we're like, why is this even happening? The match itself was really good. Yeah. Tamina looked good in there. She's, again, another one who is consistently improving. Yeah. She had a one-on-one match. This is her first one in a little while.
In a long time. She was away for a while, and then she came back.
And she actually looked pretty good in there.
I think if ever or whenever the women's tag team belts come, that would be a great pairing.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to be together by the time that happens, because we don't know when that's going to happen. So...
Right.
But I mean, a Tamina and Nia versus a Sasha and Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It might have happened already. Who knows? So Seth and Baron Corbin.
Yeah, man. This was a hell of a match.
It was a hell of a match, but I was like looking through the matches, and for 3 hours, there wasn't that much wrestling.
No. You're 100% right. There were 4, 5, 6 matches. 2 of which went over a single segment. So, yeah, you're right. Really not much for 3 hours.
So what did you think of this match overall?
I don't know. I felt kind of weird about how Rollins was getting his ass kicked so hard in this match. And it wasn't like Corbin was cheating to get the advantage. Mm-hmm. He would just simply outmaneuver Rollins in one way or another, making his offense, Rollins' offense, look kind of foolish. Mm-hmm. Like he's running in half-cocked, which I guess is a metaphor for kind of this whole match in particular.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's at one point, Rollins rushes Corbin, and Corbin just sends him to the outside, just completely throws him to the outside, and Rollins just eats the mat. It's like,
what's going on?
But shouldn't he be able to catch himself? Isn't that his thing? He's quick as a cat and strong as like
CrossFit Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel the same way. It's one of those things where it's just like this was because Baron didn't make this match and Seth did. Like I wasn't. I don't know if the right word's not invested, but I didn't really care as much.
Invested is the right word. Emotionally invested.
Yeah, because he's the bad guy.
You didn't have proper sympathy for Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That gave you the emotional connection to feel sympathy for when he was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So you basically just sat back and, as I did, and said, well, this is what you get. You wanted this match.
Yeah.
You wanted a TLC match on Raw. Now you're getting hit with a damn chair. That makes you an idiot. You wanted this. Don't you have a job to do on Sunday, too? Well, look how dumb this kid is. He talked himself into getting an ass kicking. Oh, real friggin' smart, this Seth Rollins guy.
So, are you watching TLC this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? I might be.
You're going to Texas.
I'm going to Texas. Yeah, man. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I am watching it. I don't know what I'm. The holidays for me, man, they're a rush. Like I don't really know what's going on from like one day to the next.
Like holiday shopping, or is it more work?
Either or both. Okay. Like it's all of a sudden I have so many personal and professional commitments overlapping. It's just like I can't keep track of anything anymore.
Roxy Bronx says tangent alert, tangent alert. That should be like I don't know if we have the sirens, but that would be kind of awesome.
Tangent. It's not like I'm trying to get preachy. I'm frustrated from doing this professional wrestling thing for 9 years and having to sit through something that we did better on Sunday on TV at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I think because they have the budget, because they have all the money, they should produce the best product. I don't feel like they're producing the best product for the amount of money that they're spending. And I feel like that's wrong.
It's almost like throw out like a football reference. Like you have the Dallas Cowboys. Like everybody knows the Dallas Cowboys. They know the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. You know that they invest a lot of money in their athletes, but yet still, they haven't won in decades.
Yeah.
So it feels the same thing with I don't even think that analogy was right. I just want to throw in Dallas Cowboys, but it just feels
You just want to throw the Dallas Cowboys under the bus.
I just want to feel like.
Cool.
I just feel like with WWE sometimes one of those things. It could be a combination of things because a lot of things there are a lot of moving parts. As far as with wrestlers, some not being healthy, some just things happening that
all the time.
It's what they might have had planned is nowhere. Like I would love to see go behind the scenes and see what they had planned in September for this point.
Yeah.
And
things change all the time.
They change all the time. So sometimes they just don't fit. And here we are with 6 matches in 3 hours and
having to make sacrificial changes brings out the best in people and situations, and other times it exposes how ill prepared they are for when bad things do happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think this is one of those cases where they had put so much into one area that now without it, it's just all kind of collapsing.
Yeah.
So I hope they come back. I mean, granted, they're not going out of business.
So who do you think the face of Raw is? At one point
they're trying to make it Seth Rollins
now.
They're trying really hard. They've been giving him nothing but time. And it seems to be revolving around, the same Shield guys. Like they're consistently the faces of the show. And I maybe it's time for some kind of change.
Yeah.
Maybe McIntyre's starting to insert himself into that position more now.
He seems more of Seth Rollins obviously is great, but he's missing that knack that John Cena has. Even though people love him or hate him, it's just if you go into a household, you know who the father is or you know who the head of household is. It just doesn't feel like that with Seth. It didn't
because we know who the head of the household was, and he's gone right now.
Yeah,
for reasons far beyond his control. John Cena never had that happen. Luckily for him, he had a few injuries, always quick to recover. What Roman has is not an injury.
Yeah,
that's something far more serious. So that is way beyond his control because there's no way to measure how fast he can come back.
Yeah.
It's way different. So essentially they put so much in Roman. Now that Roman's gone, it's like if John Cena had something like this happen to him.
Right.
Where do we go now?
Yeah.
There's nobody else who can handle this.
So you don't think Drew could handle it?
I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying they didn't have a plan in
right.
place.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So they don't know. They're not sure. And you see that.
Well, anything you're looking forward to for next week's Raw? For it to just be better?
Just more matches, more wrestling. Please, more wrestling.
And where can people find, you said Championship Wrestling, where can people find that online if they're not in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's available on Fight TV, and it's available nationally through several different channels. You can check local listings near you for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I personally am on social media at Baines Destroy. And let's see, Wednesday is Wrestling, Pro Wrestling, Turkey Mania 2, biggest show of the
Is it the one
year.
in Burbank or no?
It's not in Burbank. It's actually in downtown Los Angeles in a bigger venue to reflect a bigger show. And I hope everybody in the vicinity comes and supports probably one of the most fun shows that exists, period. End of statement.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us. I hope we'll see you a few more times before the year ends.
You just might. Yeah, I think things are slowing down a little bit, so I might come back.
Cross fingers. You guys can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. We have a really great show for WPW. This week we have Shaul Guerrero coming on. Amazing interview, so definitely check that out. If you're interested in reality shows, all that good stuff, I am working for VH1, so you can just check out all my social media to see where I am, radio shows, all that good stuff. Other than that, we will see you, or some form of us will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.